Hi guys, and welcome to prediction week 29. Yes, we got that right this week. I know in the week I said week 27. It was 28 in the week and it's 29 this week. So my apologies for that. Let's get straight to it. We start with the North London derby tomorrow at 12:30. Tottenham versus Arsenal. A couple of weeks ago, I would have said, I'll snap your hand off, to take a draw, against Tottenham. Because they were like 9 points clear of us and they were looking really strong. Now, the last two games, they lost to Burnley last week and they've lost to Chelsea in the week. We've all seen the headbutt, we've all seen Pochettino having a go at Mike Dean and everything like that. I wouldn't say that I'm overly confident that Arsenal can get a result here or even beat Tottenham, but I am going to go for Arsenal to nick it because I think the last two games, Tottenham have looked really poor and obviously they lost their last two games. And Arsenal have looked really, really good. They beat Southampton and they beat Bournemouth. Yes, okay, we can both argue that, Tottenham was away for two of them and Arsenal was at home for their two. But, you've still got to show form. You've still got to show, passion and, I suppose, show your quality as well. And Chelsea are not playing great at the moment. Okay, I know they did okay against Manchester City and there were parts of that game they should have won. But Chelsea's been quite on a poor run of form lately. So you'd have thought that Tottenham could have got there and at least got a draw. I actually thought Tottenham was going to win. I think I put them down to win, did I? On the other week for the other day. We all know that derbies and form and everything else can all go out the window. But I'm going to go for Arsenal to nick it. I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. I hope it's enjoyable. They usually are, the North London derbies. I'm going to go Tottenham 1, Arsenal 2. The nerves are starting to kick in now, obviously being a derby. But yeah, I think the last two, as I say, out of the last two games that we've both played, I think Arsenal's look more promising, and I'd rather be in Arsenal's confidence at the moment, than Tottenham's. As I say, form can go out the window, so who knows what happens. I mean, last time we met in the league, I know they're beat us in the League Cup, but in the league last time we met was 4-2. No one predicted that, so I don't know if I've quite got the heart for a 4-2 this weekend, but 2-1 should just about be enough. On to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, we have Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Again, Crystal Palace showed a little bit of fight, against Manchester United, but obviously too much in the end, and Manchester United ended up winning 3-1. Different game against Burnley. They're both fighting down the bottom, and even though Burnley are at home and they've just beaten Tottenham as well last week, I'm going to go for Crystal Palace to win this one quite easily as well. I'm going to go Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 2. I know I said, that they've just beaten Tottenham, but that's just a game. And I think, again, out of the two, if you ask me with form lately, I think that Crystal Palace look like the more threatening side. So that's why I've gone for 2-0 for Crystal Palace. We then have Brighton versus Huddersfield. Again, I think you could probably say that Huddersfield's probably gone now. Brighton, they're still down the bottom. So for this one, I'm going to go Brighton 1, Huddersfield 1. We then have Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Again, Manchester City struggling to West Ham on Wednesday night. It was a penalty in the end. They kept him in the title race, if you like. It happens. It happens. You can have bad games, but they're still grinding out results. I did put them to win against West Ham. I think it was 3-0. And 9 times out of 10, no one would have argued with that. So I'm going to go for a similar scoreline for this weekend. I'm just going to look at the West Ham game as a bad day at the office. They've just coming off a League Cup final. 3 days later, playing in the Premier League. So I'm going to put that as a bad day at the office. So back to form for me on the weekend for Manchester City. I'm going to go Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 3. We then have Manchester United versus Southampton. I'm still led to believe they haven't lost in the league under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United. And again, I know that can come back to bite me on the arse, but I can't see many problems for Manchester United against Southampton, especially at Old Trafford. So I'm going to go Manchester United 2, Southampton 0. Wolves versus Cardiff. Again, Cardiff fighting. Wolves they've had a fantastic and exceptional season. Wolves 2, Cardiff 0 for me. At 5:30 we have West Ham versus Newcastle. Obviously Newcastle fighting for points. West Ham, they're not really going anywhere at this moment in time. I think they're 13th or 12th in the table. Not really going anywhere, not going at the top, no going at the bottom. I'm going to go for a dull draw in this game. I'm going to go West Ham 1, Newcastle 1. On to the Sunday kickoffs. At 12 o'clock, we have Watford versus Leicester. Obviously, Watford taking an absolute whopping against Liverpool. I didn't expect that in the slightest. I think it was 5-0 or something like that in the end. Leicester, now every single week, everyone knows I go for a good game for Leicester, an end-to-end game and bloody stupid scoreline. Not this week. I think they've been struggling a little bit, Leicester, and obviously Watford will want to tighten up and they'll want to just, secure maybe a bit of safety after, their probably knock of confidence by letting 5 goals in on Wednesday night. So for that, I'm going to go Watford 1, Leicester 1. At 2:05, we have Fulham versus Chelsea. I know that Kepa didn't play on Wednesday night. He was dropped. Will he be in the team for Fulham? Against Fulham, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, to be fair. But I do think that Chelsea will beat Fulham. I've obviously just beaten Tottenham as well in the week. So I'm going to go Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. And at 4:15, we have obviously the Merseyside derby, Everton versus Liverpool. I know that, as I said, form can go out the window. But after the result that Liverpool's just had against Watford, brimming of confidence at the moment. Everton 1, Liverpool 3 for me. So that's my predictions for this weekend, guys, and I'll see you next week. I think there's only about 4 or 5 games on next week. It's NFA Cup week. So how we usually do it is I will read them. I'll even read the teams that should have been playing this weekend. So for when they do play, like in the midweek, I would have covered it anyway. So until then, I'll see you next week.